Norman. Am I incapable of having one more? No, I'm doing 1v1s, Norman. If I have more than one guest, it's going to fill up with lefties really quick. And then I get accused of piling on to people. So I like to just do 1v1s at the beginning. Norman,
Yes, sir.
how are you today?
I'm very good.
Yeah, if I start letting people in, it's going to fill up with communists real quick because that's, you know, who hangs around
I
here a
didn't
lot.
mean.
So.
Honestly, I didn't mean to sound
Hey, no, it's
so
good.
rude.
It's good. It's
But
hard.
some of the
It's
some of
hard
the
to
stuff
convey.
you're talking about, I was.
It's hard to convey through text, things like that. So
Yeah. So I don't know. I am a conservative, obviously.
yeah, hey, no problem. Yeah, I won't hold that against you.
So you guys were talking about housing earlier.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter if it's liberal or conservative or NDP. Well, we haven't talked about the NDP.
yeah.
Well, governments, they're not into the business of building homes.
They
Right?
should be.
Well, they can't be because
Why?
why?
Mm-hmm.
Well, any government that sticks their fingers into somebody that wants to rent something or
Oh
build,
well, I don't think the government should be
Well,
sticking their fingers into people, but
well, you know what I mean. Like it just doesn't work. But we need investors. That's the thing is we need good investors, right?
Why?
So you know what's that? Sorry,
why do we need investors?
to build the homes.
You mean developers?
Yeah, yes, developers. Yes, builders,
Yeah.
developers.
Don't you think
Yes.
that developers are too powerful in this country already?
They are because they are
Okay.
building one. They are building $1.5 million homes, which obviously does not help me.
No. No,
No,
I think we need to build more community homes, community housing, cooperative housing. You know, like in Ottawa, there's some great cooperative housing communities. The houses are amazing, right? And those are cooperatively owned. It's not some investor that's making money off of that. It's cooperatively owned, and they look great. People have nice cars because they don't have to worry about paying an arm and a leg for somewhere to live. Right? Houses are for living in, and that's
Yes,
really
exactly.
my
But that part comes down to the province.
municipality in Ontario.
Well, yeah. Well, I am in St. Catharines. I live
Okay,
in St.
so
Catharines.
here in Ontario, it's actually up to the municipality. That was transferred back in the 80s under Mike Harris. Was that the
Yes.
guy? So he transferred it to like 40% of people used to live in some sort of community housing in Ontario before that. And then it was transferred to the municipality. Province didn't want to have anything to do with the responsibility of building homes anymore.
Well, exactly. Well, like I said, I live in St. Catharines, and when Carney was talking about building these modular homes, well,
Yeah,
St. Catharines was full of them because back in the day they were building the canal,
yeah,
right? So when the World War II was over,
hmm
and they started really going heavy on the second or third version of the canal,
okay.
they started building these homes, and I actually because
I've been to
I
St.
live in
Catharines and
Portland.
seen those homes. Actually, they always have
Yeah.
street names like Maple and Oak and stuff like that too. I
Yeah,
know.
exactly.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah.
I lived on Cosby. And it's
Okay.
a really nice place. But anyway, I come from a town in North Bay, like Port Lorraine, a small, and then I moved here in '89. And when I seen these places, I'm going, wow, these are really nice homes. And this is in '89 before the big, 1.23 million dollar homes were getting built up in St. Catharines.
hmm
I'm going, wow, these are really nice homes.
hmm
But again, the government did help. The government obviously did help build these homes.
hmm
But I, d-
I think that's
I
what they're
don't.
trying to do again. Is something like that. I honestly haven't looked into the liberal housing plan all that much. I do know. I thought from what I had seen on people that have covered it, though, whose perspectives I do trust, that the government was looking to become the developer essentially. The last guy was saying that they're trying to get contractors or whatever for that. So that's why I'm not an expert on what this would look like. But I think it's definitely a step in the right direction. I don't think it's perfect. I do think that, we should be building a ton more affordable homes, community housing, cooperative housing, which we haven't done in Ontario in decades, probably since you moved to St. Catharines, right?
In the country.
Well, we have to look at it province to province and municipality to municipality. The federal government does have the Housing Accelerator program right now, which I live in a small town.
Don't even talk about that accelerator fund. I don't even want to talk about that. I don't even want to talk about that.
It's being used. Yes or no?
Where?
You won't let me talk. I was just about to tell you it's being used.
I'm so sorry.
It's being used in my city, right? My city has less than 10,000 people, and they've already, because of Housing Accelerator funds, they've just greenlit nearly 300 new units for 1 year, and that's huge for a small town like that, right? And they're only able to do that because of the Housing Accelerator fund. What they're also doing is they're focusing on.
I'm sorry, that's where you live. Sorry.
I'm just south of Ottawa. Do you know Kemptville?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So because of the Housing Accelerator Fund, they're able to do that, and they're building mixed use ones. So there has to be a certain amount of affordable units available in whatever that they're building. Some of them are apartments, some of them are row houses, very few of them are single family homes. And that's part of that whole densifying areas. There's a lot of people, it's a small town. People want to keep that small town feel, whatever. There's a lot of people that push back against it. Yeah, no, absolutely. But it's still getting done here anyways. If you look at the Ontario government also has incentives. So the Ontario government, as much as I dislike the Conservative government that we have, they have at least put in place a program where if municipalities meet certain building targets, that they get bonus money. Right. It's costing them a lot less to crank these out, because at the end of the day, it's at the municipal level where houses are built. They're the ones that have to, do the permits, do the zoning, the permits, and actually allow the houses to be built, right? The federal and the provincial government don't directly control that. It is up to the municipality at the end of the day. So,
you're exactly right. I was sorry being so aggressive or abrasive.
Hey, no, that's okay. That's
because
mild, bro. That's mild compared to what I'm used to. No, you know what I do for a living? I'm in protective services for a living. So anything that anybody does on here, it's not aggressive compared to what I'm used to. So
I've been talking to a lot of these lives, and I'm trying to make my own life. So I've been talking to a lot of federal stuff. But you're absolutely right, because I live in St. Catharines, and I'm telling you right tonight's Saturday.
Yep.
You can go on any street and you can throw a stone down it, and there's nobody here. They're all in bed. It's all a quiet town. But unfortunately, you are right. It is locally, and we need. I mean, the only thing the federal government and the provincial government do is just give them land. That's all they can do. After that, it is up to the cities and the councils to do what they want, right?
So, well, they can give them money, right? The province and the federal government can give them money, which is what they have been doing. Both of those levels of government have been trying to, and in Ontario, anyways. That's where I live, so that's what I know the most. But they have been trying to support the municipalities in that way to get more housing built, right? Because we are in a housing crisis. We can try to blame it on other working people all we want, vis-a-vis people blaming immigration, or blame it on the government directly for whatever reason. But the real reason that we're in a housing crisis is because for some reason in Canada, housing is seen as an investment. It's seen as an investment vehicle.
Oh la la! Oh well. King in the castle. King in the castle. Have a chair. I have a chair. Oh, go do this. Go do this. King in the castle.
Oh, sorry, I have sound alerts on my gifs.
Okay. I do have to say though, immigration is a little bit of a situation. Though.
Oh
Like,
la
I mean,
la.
that
Oh
that
yeah.
and healthcare.
King in the castle. King in the castle. Have a chair. I have a chair. Oh,
Yeah.
go
So
do
the
this,
problem,
go do this.
the problem
King
I,
in the castle.
the problem I have with this argument is that since 2000, immigration hasn't gone below 300,000 in a year, and that's spread out across the whole country. So the actual
Well,
increase.
the reason I'm saying that is like I live in the Niagara region, and we have
Yeah.
so many universities and colleges here,
Yeah.
and the amount of people that are coming here is crazy. Is crazy.
But it
And like
hasn't-
you said-
it hasn't increased
and you
all that
also
much,
said-
though.
You also said it is targeted, right? Like I mean, different
Yeah.
places. I was born and raised in Port Loring, just outside North Bay. You wouldn't
Okay.
have the immigration up there.
Oh, I love
obviously.
North Bay so much. North Bay is so nice. I was just
really?
there. I was just there in the fall. Yeah, my wife's family's from my wife. One of my wife's one side of her family's from there, so we do go there every day. We have family up there.
Port
so-
Loring. That's where I'm from, actually. Fort Loring.
Fort Lauren. Okay, I don't know
No,
that one
Port-
specifically, or Port Lauren. Okay, sorry, but yeah,
Just outside
it's Lake Nipissing, right?
Yes, yes,
Yeah, it's
yes.
so nice.
Commander.
It's like an ocean almost. It's so big. It's like Lake Ontario in that way. I guess you're in St. Catharines too, so you have that too. But you can see Toronto on a clear day. I remember that because I used to work in door-to-door sales, right? Like I used to be a conservative. I used to be hardcore capitalist, conservative. You know, you just need to work harder. Your problem is you're not working harder. Sort of conservative.
You don't have to be that hard of a conservative. Like conservatives, everybody thinks conservatives is this hardcore thing.
No, I know.
No, it's-
I understand that.
We want to be, and honestly, I voted for the last Liberal government. Mm-hmm. I did vote for the last Liberal government.
Naughty boy.
But for the
I
last
did.
few years,
Didn't.
I don't know where Trudeau went. He went right off the rails there. And here. I've been posting this. I write this all down. I think this is my thing. I think when Trudeau got into power, I'm pretty sure that the upper powers, like Carney, groomed Trudeau up to the time. Like obviously Carney was, consulting him and all this stuff. I think he got groomed so Carney can now come in and try to push his own agenda. And that's only my conspiracy theory. That's all I'm saying. But I think that's exactly what happened. Sorry.
Oh, somebody wants me to ask you if you supported the trucker convoy. You paused
Yes,
for
I
too
did.
long.
Yes, I did. But not the conspiracy where the Wastika, all that shit. No, I think they because I drive truck.
Okay. So somebody said the hate crimes went up 250% or something like that, or 150% or whatever they said. So according to CSIS, it's actually right-wing extremism that is the driving factor behind the rise in hate crime. CSIS is secure. They're security experts. They're the ones that analyze all this stuff, and they've been telling us for years that right-wing extremism is a problem. And the biggest security problem that we're facing as a country is right-wing extremism. Straight from CSIS, right?
Absolutely right.
Anti-LGBTQ, anti-woman, like the incels. There was that guy that drove the van in downtown Toronto, as an example, right? Like
That's
this.
right wing.
Yeah, it's right-wing extremism that is the main.
But we're not right wing.
Wow.
Conservatives are not. No, we're not right wing. We're more to the center. Come on now.
I will say that yes, there are centrists in the Conservative Party or that support the Conservative Party. There is a lot of right-wing extremists in the Conservative Party for sure.
Exactly. That's the problem.
There's definitely nuance to it. I don't paint everybody with the same brush, so to speak. I even had this argument with other lefties, like who want to label all people that vote conservative as racist, and I don't think that that's conducive at all to a healthy debate around these things, because all you're doing when you label somebody right away as a racist is you're alienating them from you politically, and you're pushing them further away. They're not going to listen to a word you say if you're labeling them solely based on their voting choice as a racist. If somebody says racist things, then I will label them as a racist.
Well, exactly. Because I was listening for, obviously you could see I was typing in comments and stuff, and I was going, because I was going through a lot of lives. I got booted from a lot of, honestly, lefty stuff. I try to get in and let me get, I'd say two, three things, booted.
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
Last night I was up till 5 o'clock in the morning, and we had, I think there was a panel of 8 of us, and we were having this calm, quiet conversation, just like it's actually kind of nice, and I'm actually talking to somebody one-on-one instead of being cut off by 4 or 5 different people, like you were saying earlier. You know, sometimes it gets crazy.
Yeah, so, that's why I do this. It's because we can have a good conversation this way.
Anyway, I would like to thank you for that. That's actually pretty cool. So.
Yeah, no, I prefer this format of conversation, debate, whatever you want to call it, because yelling at people, freaking out on people, labeling them without, you know, proper evidence of such is not conducive to, like, if you want to change somebody's mind, you can't do so by freaking out on them, right? And yelling at them and stuff like that.
I'm 56 years old.
Yeah,
I used to do that. Oh my God!
Yeah,
my own kids. My own kids, for Christ's sakes, and you know, it don't work.
I love my kids. I love my kids, but I have
We're gonna do this my way, and that's how it's gonna work.
I have a 3-year-old, and I would be lying if I said that she didn't drive me crazy sometimes. But it's
my oldest boy is 35. So
okay. Oh, there you go. Yeah. I had kids late in life. I had kids really late in life. So
yeah. So anyway, it's actually really nice to have a good conversation with you. So
I agree. Yeah.
What besides housing and what other I see your sign term there, you're liberal conservative.
Yeah, that is two sides of the same coin. That's what that is.
Well, exactly. I am conservative now.
Yeah.
Like I said, I voted for the last liberal until he went right off the rails to, net zero.
Yeah.
Because we'll never do that ever. Like, honestly, like the asphalt that we lay on our roads and our concrete comes out of the ground. To drive your electric cars. The rubber tires on your electric car comes out of the ground. So
doesn't rubber come from a tree, or do we not use that for tires? I don't know enough about that.
No, it comes a lot of it's oil. The water bottle.
Oh, okay, true enough.
The headphones that are on your head, the chair you're sitting on, is all oil.
Yeah, well, yeah, especially this one, it's pleather, so.
Yeah, but anyway.
Well, I mean, I think that's why people try to use those reusable bottles. I don't see any problem in like making small changes towards an end, right? Yeah, maybe it's not pragmatic to go from 60 to 0, so to speak, like the other way around. But I mean, we're definitely facing a lot of issues because of mass industrialization, and maybe it's time to slow down some of the older ways and look for alternative ways to do things. One of the big things too is reducing consumption, reducing how much we use, right? We're creatures of comfort. We love our comforts, right? Human beings, we love to be comfortable and cozy and stuff like that. And I don't know if this is controversial or not, but we're pretty lazy as a species, right? Like we like convenience. We don't like to have to do too much work to do things. So it's hard to shift that from my perspective, anyways. Maybe that's projection because I mean I like to relax a lot. So
So you've seen a lot of pretty pictures of Dubai, right?
Dubai,
Have you been to Dubai?
no,
Neither have I. Neither have I. But
no,
you've seen
I don't think I would go there. Don't think I could support.
Did you see the river that runs through that couple of those towns? Did you see that?
No, it's bad, dirty.
Oh my!
Yeah, I've seen some disgusting rivers.
Plastic. It's just covered in
Yeah,
disgustingness. You know, us living in Canada, we are very lucky.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because most Canadians, liberals, conservatives, NDP, Greens, the alternatives, the Bloc, we're all pretty lucky that we live in a country like this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but like when I've just been. This is a huge election for me, and I've never been so much huge on TikTok ever.
yeah,
I used to be a Facebook guy, but now I'm a TikTok guy because I like talking to people because you can't really do that on TikTok anymore in Canada. So
Yeah.
I just looking at stuff online and seeing stuff. It's just I'm just so glad to be Canadian, and just anybody commenting, like honestly, American. Trump is just a blip, guys. He's just a blip. We need to take care of needs to carry on in our country, like cost of living.
yeah. We need to look at new trade partners as well too. I don't think we can rely on
Exactly.
the U.S. anymore. And I like the direction that we're going in, where we're looking for other trade partners, and our European trade partners and Commonwealth trade partners. I like that. I don't know. And
I would like to try to find out how we could prove me wrong here. I don't know because I'm dumb, obviously, when it comes to certain things. Like, how can we bypass the U.S.? Like, if we can ship, like Polyev says, we can ship our LNG out this way and out that way out of ports. Why can't we not bring in? I know we're not a China person or whatever, but bring other stuff around the United States, because unfortunately, anything that we get has to go to the United States, which will get tariffs. So why can't we not go around them? You know what I'm saying?
We could. I don't know why we don't use, we use quite a bit of energy ourselves here in Canada, because we have cold winters and such in most places. I don't know why we don't just nationalize the oil and gas industry and use it here, and then look at getting things to market that way. I would be more interested in that sort of thing if we as a country actually owned those resources, but we don't. The oil and gas that's in the ground is owned by corporations. It's not owned by the country. I'm a big proponent of nationalizing oil and gas. And like if you look at Norway, they have over $1 trillion in a national in a sovereign wealth fund, which they can use for their social programs and such.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they have over $1 trillion because they nationalized oil and gas, right? Because they also do their own production as well too. They're reaping the benefits of that. That's we've got to stop. In my view, we got to stop pandering to the ultra wealthy that just want to make even more money, and we got to start taking care of the people here in this country, through things like nationalizing and creating sovereign wealth funds, things like that, using our resources but for the people and not for the few to line the pockets of investors, right? That's my view on things anyways.
Well, I guess I didn't mention that I am a status Indian. I'm Dokis Bay on
Okay.
Lake Nipissing.
And I mean, yeah, and then we got to work with First Nations because like a lot of these resources are in First Nation lands, and we got to stop, giving the middle finger to the First Nations and actually, enrich those communities as well too. But we also got to listen to them too. So like if they're saying we don't want a pipeline running through our land, then we got to listen, right? Because I mean, I also believe that, we got to do that as well too.
If you actually look at the map, where our pipeline goes to the United States and then pops back up through Quebec,
Yeah.
is it? Back up through there? That's a
Okay.
very short distance,
Yeah.
And if we go down low, there's no really indigenous land through there. And most indigenous want it because they're going to make money off it, right?
Yeah. Which and we should support that. Absolutely.
Well, the Northern
It's
Huron
not a
Treaty-
they're not a monolith though, right? Like everybody has their different views.
If you want to look this up, you can Google this: Northern Huron Treaty, which I was a part of.
Okay.
We got $10 billion, $5 billion. This was just recent. 2 months ago, 3 months ago, 4 months ago. I got
Okay.
we got $5 billion from the Ontario
Cows and
government.
plows.
No.
No, I know.
That's out west.
Yeah, no, I know.
That's different. That's out west. And I wish I was a part of that one.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
Because
I just
only-
keep hearing it.
Because I only got $120,000 in my account.
Oh, okay.
But most of our reservations got we had to, I think there was it doesn't matter if you look it up. Northern Huron Treaty, we got $5 billion from the province, and then $5 billion from the federal government. So that's $10 billion. That's a lot of money. That's from the government taking stuff out of our ground.
Yep.
So
As long as the First Nations are adequately compensated, I have no problem, and they agree with it, obviously as well too. Then I have no problem with that.
But what I'm saying is that's what the government paid us. So the government is making money
Yeah.
off every natural resource that is coming out of the ground. But it needs to be turning into tax reduction for us all Canadians.
Yeah. But the
Is what I'm
the
saying.
only way to do that is we're not going to be able to do that if we keep lining the pockets of investors, right? That's the problem.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But honestly, if the government, no, but the thing is, the government could afford actually over 170 years. That's what they paid us. But, and I still get my $4 every year.
Oh no.
So it's going to be changed, which is going to be changed.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but I mean, they're still making billions of dollars. But
Yeah.
where is that money not being shown up? I know what you're saying. Investors are making money. So is the province, and so is the federal government. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, I think a lot of that money is getting sent over, and I don't want to again conspiracy sent over to Ukraine, sent over to LGBTQ 458 to Africa, and whatever.
I have
they're
no
doing.
problem with those. I have no problem with soft power helping other countries, right? I have no problem with that at
Yeah,
all.
yeah,
That's
yes,
to
yes,
me.
yes.
That's what it means to be Canadian, right? Is to help other people. I think.
What about all? See, I'm going to get aggravated. I'm not trying to be aggravated.
Hey, no,
But, I
that's
mean,
okay.
You get these encampments, and I understand most of these people don't want to be helped. Same thing as Indians; they don't want clean water for some reason. I don't understand why they don't want clean water from the federal government, but it's the same thing. I don't understand why we don't help these people.
What
But yet we have to send
what's your perspective? I've never heard that before.
What's that?
That people don't want clean water. I've never heard that at all before.
Like I said, I live in northern Ontario, but it's not really. I'm only about 5 hours away from. I'm from St. Catherine, so 6 hours from Dokies, Lake Nipissing, obviously where you said.
Yeah.
Farther up, there's absolutely no way that some reses do not want federal people on their land. When we're going to make clean drinking water, no, because they're got to make a pumping station, obviously, because obviously bad actors had made their water bad, so they do not want federal government to help. And this is the honest to God truth. On my
Is that
res,
like a mistrust
in
thing?
Dokies, it is a mistrust
Okay.
thing.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we try to go in there. Again, I'm just saying, me as Canadians, we try to go in there and we try to say, okay, well, we're going to try to make this better. Nope, they do not want help. They would rather drink the bad water and accuse the government, and this is the honest to God truth, accuse the government that they're just bad, they're terrible, and this is how it is. Me, like, again, we have Power Dam, we're very rich. We applied for grants for a brand new water station. Boom, they put it in, just like that. It was, we didn't have to pay a thing for it. I don't live there, but I'm glad that my neighbors have good water drinking, good drinking water. But unfortunately, it's not like that on every reservation, and that's a misconception when they say, and unfortunately, it's the bad actors of the reservations that say they didn't help us. They don't want help. We do not want you on our land. And that's the honest to God truth.
Yeah, I can see the mistrust thing being a thing for sure. But yeah, we've gone pretty long, Norman. I do appreciate you coming up and giving me your perspective. I think this was a pretty constructive conversation, so I want to thank you again for staying cordial. I think some people in the comments disagree with your verbiage, but I mean, I'm not one to tell you.
I've been reading some of the stuff, but I'm telling you exactly how it is.
Yeah.
If somebody wants to come ice fishing with me, come on, let's go ice fishing.
I might take you up on that. All right. Have a good one, man. I'm going to bring somebody else up. Maybe somebody can scream at me and we can get this stream rocking. Have a good night. If you stick around, I'm going to have a full panel later, so maybe we can have you up when we go full panel. So.
Okay. I'm going to hang out and listen.
Yeah, for sure. Have a good one. I'll see you in a bit if you're still around. Goodbye.